Hi there, second graders. This is Writing for Tuesday. The prompt is a great one. Write a myth about why the moon changes shape. Now, this is the important part. Think about your genre. Write a myth about why the moon changes shape. Now, we know from school, a myth is a made-up story to explain. One form of a myth is a made-up story to explain something that happens in nature. Myths are usually from the time before science. So as people now in 2020, we know the moon does not really change shape. The moon is always the same shape. The thing that makes it look like it's changing shape is that the sun is shining on the moon from different angles. So when the sun is shining on the moon in one particular angle, the moon will look full. But when the sun is shining on the moon from a different angle, we'll only be able to see a little bit of the moon. So there's a scientific explanation for why it looks like the moon is changing shape, but it's not. You can see, however, that people from long ago who did not have telescopes, they would want to think of a way to explain this, and the way that they did that traditionally is myths or folk tales. So let's write a myth. First thing we need to think about is, what's a story type of reason that we could come up with for why the moon looks like it's changing shape? So sometimes the moon, it looks full, sometimes it has a crescent. So part of it is like disappearing every night, little bit by little bit, and like, what could make that happen? So I'm kind of thinking out loud right now, but I'm going to start you off with a sentence frame. We're imagining this happened long ago. And a lot of times myths will use animals, so I'm going to think of an animal here. Long ago, there was a blank. I'm going to go with something that could fly up into the sky. There was a bird, an eagle. I'm going to go with eagle. For me, you can think of something else, or you can do it different entirely. I'm just giving you ideas here. Long ago, there was an eagle. Every night, the eagle got very hungry. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this? What could happen? If there's an animal and it's really hungry, maybe it will take a bite out of the moon. That could cause the moon to change shape. I like that imagination there. Long ago, there was, I'm putting an N there because eagle starts with an E, and that's a vowel. So when I'm saying this, I'm saying an eagle. Every night, the eagle got very hungry. I'm going to say flew because eagles fly. If you chose a different animal like a kangaroo, you might say hopped. Or if you chose an animal like a frog, you might say jumped. It flew up, and where would it fly? It's on its way to the moon. It flew up through the clouds through the clouds and took a bite out of the moon. Every night it flew up through the clouds and took a bite out of the moon. I think I've just explained why the moon changes shape. And that is why the moon looks like, because you know it's not really changing shape. It changes shape, period. So do you see what I did there at the end? I went back and made sure that I ended the story by explaining what the myth was written to explain about science and to explain about the moon. You can adjust this any way you would like. I would recommend starting with long ago, because myths, we're imagining this is long, long time ago. Long ago there was a something, some type of animal. I suggest an animal because animals are often in myth. Every night the animal you can use got very hungry. You could also, I was thinking you could also kind of play around with this and say something like maybe every night the animal got very bored. Let's see where we could go with that just for fun. Every night that animal, we'll say, I'm gonna stick with the eagle, that was my original. The eagle got very bored. It flew up through the clouds and instead of taking a bite out, if instead my animal is bored, if you're bored you might eat, but if you're bored you really could also probably, you'd want to play or find something to do. Every night the eagle flew up through the clouds and grabbed the moon and tossed it to his friend Pigeon, and they played catch with the moon until they weren't bored anymore. The moon fell apart because of their rough playing, and that is why the moon changes shape. I totally made that up off the top of my head, but I was trying to get your imaginations rolling so you could think of maybe another reason why the moon would change shape that you make up to explain why it appears that that's happening. So I hope this was helpful to you. Can't wait to read what you wrote, and I'm sure your teachers feel the same. Thank you so much for watching.